Our family was drifting apart until we discovered a powerful act of faith that brought us closer. It wasn't some grand intervention or therapy session that brought our family back together. It was something much simpler and yet far more profound. You know those quiet moments when you realize you're all just passing by each other, each person living their own life without truly connecting? We felt that deeply. Day after day, we were going through the motions, caught up in our schedules and screens, barely noticing the growing distance. But we couldn't keep ignoring it. The tension, the silence, the feeling of being more like roommates than family. We needed something, anything, to rekindle the warmth we once had. Then, almost out of desperation, we tried something that felt a little outside our comfort zone. Praying together. It seemed too easy to make a difference, but we figured, why not give it a shot? What started as a hesitant experiment quickly transformed into something powerful. Something that not only brought us together but reshaped how we saw each other. It became our anchor, a way to pause, breathe, and reconnect each day. Suddenly, the same home that once felt heavy with silence was filled with a quiet, meaningful peace. And the beauty of it? This act of faith, something so simple, changed us in ways we never expected. Now, we're sharing this journey with you, not to say we've got all the answers, but to offer a glimpse of hope. If you felt that same distance growing in your family, or you're just looking for a way to bring everyone closer, maybe this small step could be the start of something incredible for you too. Let's dive into how a simple act of faith became the unexpected bond that strengthened us as a family. They were just like any other family, bustling with schedules, navigating the whirlwind of work, school, and social commitments. Over time, though, something felt off. The dinners grew quieter, the laughter faded, and each person started to feel like a guest in their own home. They missed the warmth that once came so easily, the unspoken connection that once made them feel like a unit rather than strangers under the same roof. No one really knew when the drift started, but they all felt it, an invisible wall that seemed harder to break down with each passing day. This distance didn't come from any big argument or event. Instead, it crept in gradually, fueled by busy lives and separate paths. Even small things, like scrolling through their phones during meals, started to add to the gap. They went from sharing their days and dreams to just sharing space. It was as if everyone was so focused on their own goals, they'd forgotten to make space for each other. The love was there, but it was clouded, masked by the daily grind that made quality time feel like a luxury. At first, they tried the usual fixes, planning more family outings, setting rules about screen time, even promising to make Sunday dinner a regular thing. But none of it seemed to stick. There was something deeper missing, something that couldn't be fixed by just spending more time together. It was becoming clear. What they lacked was a shared sense of purpose, a core that could hold them together even in the busyness of life. And that's when the idea of bringing faith into their routine first surfaced. They hadn't considered faith as a solution at first. It felt, perhaps, too simple or even a bit forced. But what they didn't realize was how powerfully grounding faith could be, a way to bring peace to a fragmented family, even in subtle, everyday ways. A seed was planted. What if they tried something different, something meaningful that could help them see each other through a new, gentler lens? The idea lingered, opening the door to something deeper. After some hesitation, they decided to try something simple yet intentional, praying together as a family. It wasn't a grand plan. There were no expectations of sudden transformations. But even in its simplicity, there was something undeniably powerful about the act. At first, it felt a little awkward. Gathering in one place, hands folded, voices quiet. Yet with each prayer, they felt the small but significant effect of slowing down and intentionally bringing their hearts together. They began with a short prayer each night right before bed. It was nothing elaborate, just a few words expressing gratitude and asking for guidance and protection. It was in those moments of silence that they found a profound connection forming, a shared vulnerability that made each person feel seen and heard in a way they hadn't felt in a long time. Even the youngest ones, who were often the most restless, found comfort in this new ritual. It became a small, sacred pause in their otherwise busy lives. This simple act wasn't just about prayer. It was about learning to hold space for each other's needs, fears, and dreams. They discovered that prayer opened up conversations they wouldn't usually have. They'd end up talking about things they might have kept to themselves otherwise. Worries about school, work stresses, or just a sense of being overwhelmed by life's demands. These little talks made them realize that, despite all the differences, they were all struggling in their own ways, and each prayer was a step toward mutual support. And as the days went on, prayer began to feel like an anchor. When someone had a rough day or things felt uncertain, they knew they had this moment to lean on each other, drawing strength from faith and family alike. It became a rhythm they looked forward to, a small but solid act that reminded them that they weren't just individuals with separate lives but a family woven together by love and faith. As they continued this nightly prayer, something unexpected began to happen. The energy in their home felt lighter, even on the days that weren't easy. There was a newfound calm, a kind of peace that lingered even through the usual stresses and challenges. They began to notice that conflicts, when they arose, were met with more patience. Where frustration once led to tension, now understanding and compassion took its place. It was like each prayer had planted seeds of gentleness that gradually took root in their daily interactions. Praying together also gave them a shared language of gratitude and hope. They started to point out the little blessings that often went unnoticed: the laughter of a child, a kind word, a meal shared in good spirits. These moments became reminders that, no matter how busy or strained life felt, there was always something to be thankful for. Each person started bringing their unique concerns and joys to the prayer, which made everyone feel deeply connected, not just to the practice but to each other's lives. This new closeness even began to extend beyond their family. The kids started mentioning how they felt more peaceful at school, more confident in friendships, and less affected by the little dramas and stresses. Their home had become a safe haven, and that security spilled over into their lives outside. The parents noticed this as well. Knowing that they had a steady practice that anchored their family allowed them to face their own daily pressures with greater resilience. It became clear that this simple act of faith was doing more than bringing them together. It was transforming them. What had begun as a small, intentional practice had blossomed into a source of genuine strength. They were becoming more attuned to each other's needs, more open-hearted in their support. It was a shift they hadn't anticipated but cherished deeply. Proof that faith, when shared, has the power to build bonds that stand strong even in life's storms. Seeing the impact that prayer had on their family, they felt inspired to share their story with others. They didn't want to preach or seem overly pious. They simply wanted others to know the power of a small act of faith. They began encouraging friends and extended family to try similar practices, emphasizing that it didn't need to be perfect or even daily, just a moment to pause, connect, and welcome peace into their lives. They found that many others were also looking for ways to bring more warmth and understanding into their families. They noticed that other families, too, were hungry for this kind of connection, tired of the busyness that seemed to pull everyone in different directions. Some friends were hesitant, feeling that prayer was a private matter or worried that it might feel awkward. But they shared how the practice had deepened their own bond, how it had softened hearts and brought them a quiet strength. Soon enough, others were inspired to try, sharing their own moments of family prayer, which only strengthened the sense of community. The family realized that this act of faith wasn't just about their own home. It was a ripple effect, spreading peace and unity among those they cared about. They saw how faith, even in its simplest forms, has a way of bringing people together, drawing out the kindness and compassion that so often get buried beneath life's daily pressures. It became a blessing they could share, a way of giving back by offering hope and connection to others who might be struggling. And as more families embraced this practice, the impact grew. They understood now that a shared act of faith was more than a religious tradition. It was a path to love, resilience, and unity. They saw it as a legacy they could pass down, a reminder that true strength in family lies not only in blood ties, but in a foundation of shared faith and intentional love. With a deeper understanding of what bound them together, they felt equipped to face whatever came their way, knowing that their family was rooted in something timeless and unbreakable. If there's one thing we've learned, it's that sometimes the most powerful changes come from the simplest actions. This small practice of praying together grounded our family, turning moments of disconnect into times of unity. It doesn't take much to start, just a bit of time, a little willingness, and an open heart. Imagine the impact of a few minutes each day, just gathering and expressing gratitude, sharing hopes, or simply being together. It's not about perfection, it's about connection. Have you ever wondered what a small act of faith could do in your own life? What if it could be the bridge that brings you closer to your loved ones? Why not try it for a week? Or even just one day? You might be surprised at the peace and togetherness it brings. Ready to take your faith journey to the next level? Get your copy of the Yearly Prayer and Reflection Journal today and experience the power of daily prayer, reflection, and spiritual growth. Whether you're seeking a deeper connection with God, looking for guidance, or simply need a source of encouragement, this journal is your perfect companion. Don't wait. Start your transformative journey now and let God's Word shape your life one day at a time. Click the link in the comments and begin living a more purposeful, faith-filled year. And if you're interested in more content like this, make sure to subscribe to Proverbius and turn on notifications. There's so much more to explore on our journey of faith together, and we'd love for you to be a part of it.